Earvin Ngapeth is driving at a crazy speed heading to the Novosibirsk airport. Why? And what's going on back in the team's facility? The team here is Kuzbaz Kemerovo, and the coach is Earvin Ngapeth, Earvin's father. When asked about the whereabouts of his son, he said,
Que se passe-t-il? Il a décidé de rompre son contrat. Je n'ai pas de mots pour expliquer cela. Je les ai appris 1 heure avant notre dernier entraînement.
Rumors start to swell of a son that abandons his father, and a couple of months later, coach Ngapeth loses his job. After this incident, father and son would not speak for the next 3 years. So what does Earvin Ngapeth do next?
Le sbar, je taffe, mais pas avant 10 heures. Je suis pas du matin, tout le monde le sait, même l'entraîneur.
But not everyone sees Earvin Ngapeth like this. Who really is Earvin Ngapeth, and why is he the most misunderstood player in the history of volleyball? Let's take you back, not to when he was born, but before even his father was born. This story begins in Douala, Cameroon, as they keep up the fight for independence. Tensions are high in the country, and it was during this tension that Earvin Ngapeth was born in 1959. This pre-independence and post-1960 independence Cameroon was full of ethnic tensions and economic inequality. Young kids in Douala couldn't even get a place to play volleyball until one day in 1968.
Poco por azar, en su barrio, en el fondo, había un terreno baldío, es decir, no había nada, y algunos jugadores que eran un poco más adultos hicieron un campo de voleibol. Y así fue, en el fondo, con ese campo. Era un grupo de 15, 20 y se hacían partidos entre ellos. Y lo lindo de esto es que ese grupo fue el puntapié inicial para el voleibol en Camerún. Y que de ahí salieron jugadores que jugaron en la selección y todo eso. Después Eric, él partió joven a Francia. Él partió a la edad de 13.
But although Eric trained with AS Cannes, his first professional volleyball club was CSM Clamart in 1978, where he played as a middle blocker. However, his first taste of volleyball glory came 6 years later in 1984 with Agnières Sports when they won the French championship. But that year, he moved south to join AS Fréjus, where he would go on to claim 3 consecutive French titles from 1987 to 1989. Then after a successful career, Eric joined AS Cannes in 1990 and won the French title. The following year, he welcomed his first son, Earvin Ngapeth. But why? Why the name? Arguably the most creative volleyball player, Earvin.
Big fan of Magic Johnson, right? For real, like so much video, so much, on the TV with the whole TV, whole big cassette. And he decided to call me Earvin because of him. Yeah.
Bond between father and son was so tight that Eric decided to retire that year. The birth of a male heir brought him pride and a sense of dynastic security, but little did he know that little Earvin was here to break all the rules, and it showed very early. Earvin planned on choosing football, but the pivot to volleyball actually started with his mom Christine after she got separated from his father, Eric.
Les parents ils sont plus ensemble, tu vois, donc je vais avec ma mère. Et donc elle décide de rester habiter à Poitiers. Et en fait, elle nous inscrit dans un stage avec mon frère multisport. Tu sais, de 1 semaine ou 2 semaines pendant les vacances parce qu'elle est bossée. Et en fait, je me retrouve, mais ça a été vraiment par hasard qu'avec des volleyeurs.
There, a coach, not his father, pushed him towards volleyball.
No, this trainer say, Earvin, you can do something good. You have to take one license and go play volleyball.
That's awesome.
But the push wasn't enough because volleyball came to him too easily and his father was scared he'd get bored and quit. Now he was into volleyball properly and he had real motivation. But little did he know, his good kid image would never be the same.
Et ça a pété en fait, ça a pété et moi à l'époque là, ça pète, donc ça pète dans le vestiaire total. Et le coach il décide de m'écarter, tu vois.
Okay.
Le coach il décide de m'écarter, donc je fais mes valises et...
At 18, Earvin Ngapeth got called to the national French volleyball team after proving himself in the French league. How?
Du coup, j'ai eu cette chance-là aussi d'avoir mon père comme coach. Parce qu'il me fait bosser, il me fait un peu bosser plus que les autres, mais il me met pas sur le terrain tout de suite. Mais ça a été vraiment 2-3 années à Tours qui m'ont forgé 2 années. Parce que la 3e année, quand j'ai eu 19 ans, j'ai dit je vais aller vivre tout seul. La première année, c'est vraiment 2 années, c'est comme s'il m'a préparé en fait. C'est comme s'il m'a préparé mentalement, tout pour être prêt pour quand justement je vais arriver à 19 ans que je sois prêt en fait.
Eventually, preparation met opportunity, and Earvin seized the moment with both hands. Within his first 2 years with Tours Volleyball, he won 2 French Cups and a French Championship. So French coach Philippe Blaine called him into the national team, and he answered.
Moi j'arrive jeune, 18 ans, je veux manger tout le monde, et peut-être que je suis un peu trop...
It was the 2010 FIVB in Italy. The big bright lights were on and Earvin felt the pressure.
Il est souvent coutumier du fait à Tours. Le stress, la pression, lui donne envie d'aller uriner. Incompréhension avec l'entraîneur. Et puis le sujet de départ, c'est ça, donc c'est quand même dommage. Il avait l'autorisation de l'arbitre, il a demandé. Exceptionnellement, l'arbitre lui a donné, l'entraîneur l'a refusé. Puis après, il y a eu une explication un peu vive dans le vestiaire. Voilà. Après, il y a sûrement des choses en dessous, ça c'est certain.
Also, Coach Blaine preferred the more experienced players over the young ones, so Earvin was getting benched a lot. Young Earvin wasn't cool with this, and during their 3rd round match against Japan, he lost control of his mouth.
J'ai tout simplement pris la tête avec l'entraîneur dans le vestiaire après le match contre le Japon. À la fin de cette embrouille, j'ai proféré quelques...
Ngapeth was sent away from the team, and France were eliminated. He was also excluded from the French team that prepared for the 2011 FIVB. With such a bad image in France, Earvin moved to Italy, joined Cuneo Piemonte in Serie A1, hoping for a fresh start.
Cuneo, là, ils sont vice-champions d'Italie.
Ok.
Ils jouent en Ligue des Champions. Il n'y a que des stars.
Ok.
Il n'y a que des stars du volley.
Des noms, par exemple, même sur les connaît pas.
Gribic, Mastrangelo, Ubereno, Wichmann. C'est que des joueurs
Des monstres.
surtitrés, des champions olympiques. C'est des gens que je regardais quand j'étais petit alors que je jouais pas au volley encore, tu vois. Donc, j'ai cette opportunité-là et c'est impossible de refuser d'aller dans ce club, tu vois. Puis je vais vraiment dans un club, un gros club italien qui a une vraie histoire, qui a une grosse histoire.
However, Italy was a bigger challenge, and that meant it would take some time before Ngapeth got good enough to get some dirt on his shirt.
Première année, je joue pas tout le temps, mais petit à petit. Deuxième année, je re-signe, il me propose un poste de titulaire, tu vois. Et ils rajeunissent un peu l'équipe aussi.
D'accord.
Et c'est cette année-là où on fait finale de Ligue des Champions.
And just like that, the name, Earvin, really began to take root in his life.
I think because he have this kind of play, you know, this kind of strange play, and it's also my feeling when I'm playing volleyball to make something different, something special. But I don't think so. It's because I look the Magic Johnson when I'm young.
Ngapeth helped the team get to the final of the CEV European League in his first season as a starter. However, they couldn't win it all. But then his performance in Italy was enough to earn his redemption, so Coach Blaine recalled him to join the French national team for the 2011 European Championship. But let's go back to the Earvin name, because it seemed to not only be taking root on the court, but also taking root off of it. Just as the man he was named after was a party freak, Ngapeth was becoming one himself. And this led to his second scandal. In August 2012, Ngapeth got into a fight in a nightclub in Montpellier. but it was in 2014 that he got punished for it with a 3-month suspended prison sentence. But by then, the media had already grown accustomed to labeling him a bad boy, and as the years went on, it only got worse for him, especially when he took his journey to Russia. And this is where he not only hurt his image, but he hurt his father.
Earvin, qu'est-ce qui se passe là? Ni moi, ni personne en Russie ne peut comprendre ce qui est en train de se passer. Tu m'as déçu moi, les sponsors, les coéquipiers, le club, tout le monde. Tu aurais au moins pu dire à ton père que tu ne revenais pas. J'ai honte et je suis blessé.
If Russia was not a top club for Earvin Ngapeth, then why did he move there?
C'est pas le choix que j'aurais dû faire, tu vois. Mais je pars avec le pater. Lui aussi, salaire. On a 21 ans, j'ai 21 ans, Sibérie. Je suis le seul étranger.
Ok. On parler la langue.
Avec le pater. Ça s'est bien passé, tu vois. Mais Renoir en Sibérie, quand même, il n'y a pas eu de galère.
Ok.
So a 21-year-old is offered a huge salary and a chance to play under his father again. What could go wrong? Nothing, except he's expecting his first son.
C'est ça le déclenchement de mon départ, en fait. Pour les visas, il n'y a pas de mariage, blablabla.
Ok.
Plein de trucs.
Donc ça, ouais, complique un peu le truc.
De ouf. Et ce qui se passe...
The complications were swept under the carpet for the rest of 2013. So Ngapeth continued with his explosive attacks and unorthodox style plays on the court. His addition improved Kuzbass's performance both in the league and in the CEV Cup. However, those complications reared its ugly heads early in 2014.
Et ce qui se passe, c'est qu'en janvier, on a un tournoi de qualif pour le mondial, donc où je dois rentrer avec l'équipe de France.
Earvin switches off his phone and tells no one, not his manager, and not even his father. And when the media got hold of his father, the man was just as dumbfounded as everyone else was.
Que se passe-t-il? Il a décidé de rompre son contrat. Je n'essaye pas de mots pour expliquer cela. Je les ai pris 1 heure avant notre dernier entraînement.
The club took Earvin to court, where he was suspended and the details of his contract finalized. He received half of his contract after playing just 6 matches and went his way. Months later, his father's contract was ended, and so was the relationship between father and son for 3 years. The media made sure to document every part of that scandal, except for his side of the story. It took months before Ngapeth shared his side of the story in this post. As mentioned earlier, he had told the club that he was expecting his first son.
Puis, quelques jours plus tard, ma femme m'est tapée et m'a dit qu'elle est à l'hôpital. Dès la fin de la conversation, j'étais déjà dans un taxi en direction de l'aéroport de Novosibirsk. Ensuite, mon père m'est papé et m'a dit que le club avait annulé mon vol. J'étais très contrarié comme tu peux l'imaginer.
Why would a father and club prevent a man from being available for the birth of his first son? Coach Eric himself quit volleyball after Earvin's birth, so obviously he knows how important it is. So what happened? Well, it's the bad boy image born from his personality.
Mais Earvin est quelqu'un de sanguin. Avec lui, tout peut dégénérer à tout moment, même si il est la victime.
This is why Earvin Ngapeth always comes off as a rude, arrogant, and hot-headed nepo baby. But deep inside, he is a boy who would stay up all night to write a song for a dead friend.
J'ai un souvenir marquant. Un jour, nous avons appris que l'un de ses amis, avec qui il avait joué dans les équipes de jeunes, était décédé lors d'un voyage en Bretagne. Il a passé une nuit blanche à écrire une chanson en son hommage. Il avait 13 ou 14 ans. C'était extraordinaire. L'amitié est sacrée pour lui.
Il a compris, tu vois, que c'était pas le bon moment pour moi d'aller là-bas. J'étais au moment de ma carrière où je dois jouer dans les gros clubs.
Ok.
However, this incident did a major damage to his image, and he went into volleyball exile.
Il n'y a aucun club qui veut que je m'entraîne avec eux, même m'entraîner. C'est ce que j'ai fait.
T'as fait quoi?
J'ai pris une licence de foot.
But it wouldn't last.
Il m'appelle, il me dit y a un club là, c'est compliqué en ce moment, et ils ont besoin d'un joueur. Demain matin, tu dois être en Italie. Je pense que ce moment-là, ça a été le moment le plus important de ma carrière. Tu vois.
D'accord.
Parce que là, j'arrive dans un club, c'est une famille.
For the first time, Earvin Ngapeth finds a club that ignores his image in this media and embraces him completely. So after months away from family, Ngapeth was now about to begin a new life with two families, one at home and one on the court. With his first son, Matisse, and family close, Earvin was all set to conquer volleyball in Italy. But there was a lot of work to be done both on himself and on the team.
On a l'équipe pour aussi, tu vois. On a l'équipe pour. Et en fait, c'est compliqué à Modène quand j'arrive, ils sont 8e du championnat.
Ah, ouf.
Beaucoup de blessés, pas mal de problèmes internes, tu vois.
From day one, it turned out to be a match made in heaven. Modena won the Italian title while Ngapeth won his first MVP award. From unreal behind-the-back recoveries to creative tips, soon Ngapeth earned the nickname Mr. Magic.
Bah ça c'est en Italie, hein. C'est les supporters italiens qui ont lancé ce truc-là.
But just as it seemed like everything was falling into place, Earvin got himself into trouble again. In July 2015, after Modena's Super Cup loss, Earvin got into the Montparnasse train station, and while waiting for a friend, he gets into an argument with the controller and hits him. That same day, Earvin gets arrested.
French volleyball player Earvin Ngapeth faces a 3-month suspended prison sentence if convicted of assaulting a train controller. The prosecution requested for the sentence against Ngapeth for violence against a railway agent and obstruction of train traffic in July 2015.
During the court proceedings, his nightclub brawl from 2012 was brought up, and together those charges earned him a 3-month suspended sentence. But even then, Ngapeth couldn't be stopped on the court. He led France to 2015 European Championship gold and World League gold. He also won MVP and Best Outside Spiker. In Modena, he won the Italian Cup and the Super Cup. But it was almost like the more Ngapeth embraced his unorthodox ways, the more they resulted in off-court drama. By November that year, Ngapeth committed his biggest scandal yet: a hit and run. 3 pedestrians hit and Earvin fled the scene, only to turn himself in days later. Why? No one knows. But what we do know is that his son had a life-threatening sickness, and Ngapeth was on his way to the airport so he could board a flight to go be with him. And once that was done, he turned himself in, visited 2 of the 3 victims, and paid damages. In court, he pleaded guilty, accepted probation, and got fined by the club, but by now, the bad boy label had stuck. Still, the drama on the court remained just as explosive as when he was off of it. 2016 Modena swept everything: the Italian Championship, the Cup, the Super Cup. Earvin was winning and losing at the same time. Before the start of the 2019 CEV, he said, and I quote, "Obviously the general public doesn't know us. They know me, and it's because I've done bullshit. That's why if my name comes first, is it solely due to volleyball or other things? Aggression against the controller, car accident that caused 3 injuries? It's unfortunate, it's my fault, but it's like that. People don't talk about me for what I can do on the court." But they do. They do talk about what he can do on the court. In fact, it's the same reactive nature that gets him in trouble that makes him so great on the court.
It's just what's coming in his head in this moment. So if he's doing it, and then maybe after he say, maybe I did a little bit too much, but he just goes for it. And that's what makes him this player, because if you see with the left, with the right, with he turn around, with the feet, everything. So
this pattern of reacting to moments with creativity and force continued through 2017. It helped him lead France to another gold at the World League, where he won the MVP. But then later that year, he got himself a DUI in Modena with the blood alcohol level that was way past the legal limit. He was fined and his driver's license revoked. By 2018, life had become difficult in Modena.
Moi, la dernière année, ça se passe pas top à Modène. Et le seul endroit, parce que j'ai pas envie d'aller dans un autre club en Italie. Et Kazan, ben Kazan, il cherche un joueur, en fait. Il cherche un joueur. Et
So Ngapeth heads back to Russia, this time without his father. However, Ngapeth was replacing Wilfredo Leon, who had won 4 championship league titles. Hence, expectations were very high. His first trophy was the Russian Cup and the Super Cup in 2019. But after that, Rubin Kazan lost in the finals of the CEV to his former club, Kemerovo. But just when it started to look like Ngapeth would be able to stay out of trouble for a year, a party in Brazil happened and Earvin spiked a woman's buttocks. He clearly mistook her for a friend, but didn't stop him from getting arrested, then released with no charges filed. After this incident, Earvin really started channeling his anger into music.
I think I write almost every day. The problem, the biggest problem I have is to find a studio or go to record, especially when I am like in Turkey or when I was in Russia. You know, it's not easy. But I'm writing every day.
Under the name Klima, he was able to build something outside of sports, something outside of his father's influence. But now at the age of 29, Earvin Ngapeth realized that he has 2 major problems. The fact that he has not won gold at the FIVB championship, and his bad boy image.
Il est reconnu comme un très grand joueur, mais je ne sais pas s'il est un modèle. Tout a été médiatisé depuis le début de sa carrière.
Then 2020 happened, and Ngapeth tested positive for COVID. For weeks, Earvin had to be by himself while receiving treatment. This gave him enough time to reminisce about his experiences, his actions, and how he could be a better person. At this point, Earvin decided it was time to embrace who he is, an entertainer, on and off the court. This was his life, and he was taking it global. And his next stop was Iran.
Et le truc, c'est que j'insiste parce que je sais qu'en Iran, il y a énormément de... Enfin, moi, ma grosse basse fan, je te jure, c'est l'Iran.
From Iran, Ngapeth moved to Turkey, joining the Halkbank Ankara. It was another success, winning the Turkish Volleyball League, the Turkish Cup, and the Turkish Super Cup. Earvin was now global and had won everything except for one elusive title.
Depuis pour certains, ça fait presque 20 ans qu'on joue ensemble. Donc ouais, c'est un rendez-vous d'équipe, c'est un rendez-vous important et c'est la dernière qui nous manque. C'est la dernière qui nous manque. Donc
After missing his chance in 2022, Ngapeth set his eyes on the tournament in 2025. But before that, he had big plans for the 2024 Olympic Games. Big plans that would leave a long-lasting impact on his image.
Salut tout le monde, c'est Earvin Ngapeth, joueur de l'équipe de France de volleyball, champion olympique à Tokyo. Je vous fais cette petite vidéo pour vous annoncer ma candidature pour être porte-drapeau aux Jeux Olympiques de Paris 2024.
Honnêtement, j'étais sceptique dès le départ. Je ne pensais pas qu'il serait choisi. Ses dérapages et ses escapades, même s'ils remontent à loin, ont forcément joué un rôle dans le vote, compte tenu de l'image qu'il a laissée.
His father was right, Ngapeth was not chosen, but that didn't stop him from leading the French volleyball team to Olympic success. Now he has 2 Olympic gold medals and a reputation as the most controversial player in volleyball. Yet, his teammates love him totally.
He's just so free out there that like it makes you feel more free, and we have a good relationship just because we're 2 people that in the volleyball world like we enjoy.
Even the trainers love his ethic.
Аз си спомням един от най-проблемните хора, с които са работил за треньора, беше Ngapeth, волейболист. Хич не го харесвах, французина. Помпан, надут. Идва на тренировката леко пинал. Идвал бе. Но изключително се раздаваше в тренировката. Той, колкото по-сложни неща му дах, толкова повече се нахъсва. Ме изпотява се, ама зачервява се и накрая ти благодари.
And so do the fans. But is he going to retire without the one missing piece, the FIVB World Championship?
I don't will stay in national team if some young player arrive and they are ready to play. I don't will be the man no, I will stay. I'm Earvin and I won't take one place. You understand what I mean? I think it's very important to go when is your time and when the good generation arrive. If it's your time, you just have to to go home, bro.
And so, Ngapeth and the French team went into the tournament as favorites after the back-to-back Olympic wins, but unfortunately they were knocked out in the round of 16 by Argentina. This was France's worst showing at the competition since 2014. So will Ngapeth quit the chase, or will he be relentless in his pursuit of glory?
C'est trop facile de s'arrêter après la médaille à Paris. Nous, je pense qu'on avait tous envie d'aller encore plus loin. Pour certains, il y a encore l'envie d'aller encore plus loin. Mais c'est sûr que ce mondial, ça va être la dernière pour cette, on va dire, l'ossature de ce groupe, et c'est important qu'on soit là.
We will see for ourselves what he ends up achieving. And if it ever comes to it, Earvin winning at the FIVB, I feel like I would be jumping out of my chair. He truly is a tragic tale, one that at least deserves a happy ending. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.